Sinestro.
You don't really believe he's your backup, do you, Hal?
No.
Let's say what he actually is.
My replacement. It's time to get up, Junior.
So, you're a space cop.
No, I'm just being trained.
All right, new lesson. Take the ring. You fly.
Just fly.
I'm sorry. Fly, please. What's that?
You're the backup quarterback.
For now. What do you think is going on?
It's no accident we're here. These victims are gonna end up being alien.
Based on what?
I have a feeling.
He has a feeling.
I think this is more than just a feeling.
This is a threat no one's ever seen before.
What do you know about manhunters?
Where'd you hear that word?
Manhunters are the most dangerous beings to ever exist in the galaxy. It could take the form of any species.
So it could be anyone.
He's gonna send an army to put you down.
Do you resent Hal Jordan?
The ring's always been mine. Jordan's just keeping it warm.
In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light. How about a beer?
Welcome back, everyone. Happy Comic-Con week. James Gunn and DC dropped a brand new Lanterns trailer. There's a whole bunch of new footage, Easter eggs, references, so we will break it all down. You could definitely tell they listened to everybody's comments, so they loaded the trailer with a whole bunch of green. Probably the biggest things they reveal in this trailer are the main threat, like the main villain of the present day of the series, which is supposed to take place 10 years ago in the past before the events of Superman 2 Man of Tomorrow, is the Manhunters. Really big deep cut from Green Lantern lore and a lot of actual Sinestro. Like we finally see him talking to Sinestro in his space prison. Like he even thinks, he admits to Sinestro that the Guardians of the Universe, or he thinks the Guardians of the Universe are replacing him. So there might be some crazy WTF twists for Hal Jordan's ending during this series. The idea, they said, is there are two different timelines during the series. First, 10 years ago with John just 2 months into his training, which is what we see of them walking around investigating the Manhunters in this town, like the primary timeline of the show. But then the writer said that the narrative is going to jump forward 10 years into the future, and they're just holding a bunch of secrets about what's happening there, and that's meant to be right before the events of Superman 2 Man of Tomorrow. So it just confirms the timeline of the show and when this is all happening, like when Jon Stewart becomes a Green Lantern.
Let's say what he actually is.
My replacement.
They also confirmed the reason why Sinestro was in prison is that he was expelled from the Green Lantern Corps after unsuccessfully attempting a coup to take it over, and the Guardians of Oa are worried if any of Sinestro's nature or ideas have rubbed off on Hal Jordan, and he might break bad too. So a lot of people have been wondering if the reason why his suit is faded into like a more yellowish, more brownish color in present day, that's because he's slowly succumbing to fear, and we might get a big parallax Hal Jordan twist at the end of the series. So just something to keep in the back of your mind, just lay a lot of theory crafting if the Guardians of the Universe are worried that Hal Jordan is going to turn out like Sinestro. Because that was a really big comic book arc when he actually turned into Parallax. And one of the other biggest reveals at the Comic-Con panel is they confirmed that Laura Linney is playing a female Guardian of the Universe, Guardian of Oa. She's just making herself look like a human in the clips that we see in the trailer. We get a lot of footage of the Manhunters too, so this is actually pretty cool. The Manhunters were the first attempt of the Guardians of the Universe to create an interstellar police force that would combat evil all over the galaxy. For thousands of years, they served the Guardians well. However, the Manhunters became obsessed with the act of hunting criminals. Their code, "No man escapes the Manhunters," became more important to them than seeing justice done. So you kind of see where this is headed in the events of the actual series. The rogue Owen, Krona, reprogrammed the Manhunters to prove to the Guardians that there were flaws in an emotionless police force, so this is before the Green Lantern spectrum became a thing. Krona's reprogram influenced the Manhunters into deciding that because all crime is the result of emotional responses and all emotions come from organic life, then the solution on maintaining order in the universe was to remove all organic life from it, basically wiping the whole universe. The Manhunters then descended upon the worlds of Sector 666, slaughtering every organic being that they came across into what became known as the Massacre of Sector 666. Only 5 beings survived the massacre, and they blamed the Guardians for unleashing the Manhunters. These individuals formed an organization known as the 5 Inversions and created the Empire of Tears. Atrocitus is from Sector 666, so people wondering if they're going to do the rest of the emotional spectrum, the other Lantern Corps, Sinestro Corps War eventually, Blackest Night eventually. This is all just sort of leading towards them laying seeds for that kind of stuff. After the Manhunters wiped Sector 666, the Guardians tried to get rid of them but failed, and then they declared that that sector was off limits. It was basically like a banned zone that nobody could go to, but Abin Sur did travel there briefly to try and save some people. There are a couple of shots in the trailer where they're on this dead alien world that looks like it might be inside Sector 666 because they're leaning so heavily on Manhunters here in the history of the Manhunters. So that might be what's happening when they're looking at all this tech on this alien planet. Like, it looks like it's been wiped by the Manhunters.
What do you know about manhunters?
Where'd you hear that word?
And it kind of seems like they're implying the reason why the Manhunters have come to planet Earth is because they plan to wipe planet Earth. So they're basically trying to save the Earth from destruction. Another Earth-ending threat in a series where it seems like they come to this quite Western town, like it's a sci-fi Western, but also they're trying to save the actual planet itself. A lot of the trailer is also playing on the idea of the emotional spectrum, Green Lanterns using will to wield their rings and make their constructs, but also in the previous trailers, there's been this line where Sinestro yells at Hal Jordan asking, "Are you afraid?" and Hal Jordan asking John Stewart, "Are you afraid?" So now the Manhunters coming along hating the emotional spectrum, maybe by the end of the series, Hal Jordan succumbs to fear and he becomes Parallax. I also wouldn't be surprised if they jump forward 10 years into the future and Sinestro has since escaped his prison and he's on the road to creating the Sinestro Corps, like he has his Yellow Lantern ring. Going through the trailer shot by shot, talking about Easter eggs and WTF moments, starting at the beginning, Hal Jordan just messing with John Stewart. It seems like they've been in the town just recently, they spent the night there, and because it's still his first 2 months on the job, so to speak, he's just messing with him like the rookie on the job. But you remember, John Stewart is from the military, he was a Marine, so he went through boot camp, so he's experienced treatment like this. This is just like boot camp. We get a couple wide shots of the city, them investigating some of the recent murders. Then we meet Purna. She's playing Zoe, who's supposed to be a love interest in the town for John Stewart. I think she's meant to be the town doctor or the coroner. She's involved medically with what's going on with all the killings. They mostly use these scenes for him to sort of set up the idea that he's the backup quarterback, as they make the joke here, the football joke. But really, Hal Jordan thinks that the Guardians are trying to replace him, and that's why John Stewart is here. We get a couple funny moments of Hal Jordan trying to train John Stewart to use the ring to make constructs, so he gives him his ring, and he creates a tiny little bird when he tells him to fly, and he's just completely surprised. I love the way they play this off, too. Like, what the hell is that? I told you to fly, not to create something that flies. But what they're also doing in him creating this highly detailed bird that seems like it's almost alive, it's not alive, it's a Green Lantern construct, is they want to show you that John Stewart has a much more keen mind than Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan's constructs are meant to come from a place of rage, just think about that emotional spectrum, and a little more like a blunt instrument, whereas John Stewart's constructs are meant to be more detailed because he was also an architect after he left the military. So this is also why later in the trailer you see John Stewart using the ring to create this highly detailed, highly complex drill that Hal Jordan wouldn't be able to make. So the series will show you how fundamentally they are very different types of Green Lanterns that create different types of constructs just based on the way their different minds work. I think the audio track that they're playing under this is some Nine Inch Nails music. They actually scored Damon Lindelof's Watchmen HBO series, so maybe Nine Inch Nails will score some of the soundtrack for this series too. They then start to investigate all the killings around town, and Jon Stewart asks him about the Manhunters, and Hal Jordan asks him, how'd you learn about this? Why'd you find out about the Manhunters? And then figuring out that it's the Manhunters that are doing all these things in town, pretending to be other people, also sort of playing on the paranoia aspect because they can form any shape, any person that they want, so they could be anybody walking around. All these scenes on the football field of them investigating the murders feel very Friday Night Lights adjacent because you have a Coach Taylor version of Hal Jordan on the series.
Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
We get a couple more scenes of Garrett Dillahunt's character, who's supposed to be a conspiracy theorist. He also says that something crazy is going on in town, and he's worried about an alien threat. So I don't know if he's going to turn out to be connected to the Manhunters, but he just seems like a very trigger-happy, very rich, very powerful person in the town. We get the voiceover of Hal Jordan explaining the history of the Manhunters to Jon Stewart as they're on an alien planet, it seems like, because you see there's two suns above them, and they're investigating people's skulls. There's all these structures, advanced society that seems like it's been wiped by the Manhunters, so it might wind up being Sector 666. We get another scene with this character also talking about the history of the Manhunters. Also seems like he's worried about them, so we'll find out who he's playing on the series too, if it winds up being some other big character from the canon, from the comics. He's also the same person who's opening up fire on Hal Jordan, who uses the ring construct to protect himself from that hail of bullets. So my assumption is they open fire on him because they think that he's a Manhunter. We get another quick scene of Jason Ritter's character. I think that he's meant to be the brother of Garrett Dillahunt's character, and I think that he's married to one of the other main characters on the series. We get that cool new scene of Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, in his Justice Gang uniform, but this was probably still 10 years ago in the past, so he's been on the Justice Gang for longer than we've actually thought. And when he gets really pissed off and says they're going to send an army to put you down, it sounds like he's talking the way they cut this to Hal Jordan. So this might be before something crazy happens with Hal Jordan, before he does something crazy at the end of the series, because I think the army and the people that he's talking about they're going to send to put him down are the Guardians of the Universe, sending an army of Green Lantern Corps to put Hal Jordan down. We get what seems like Jon Stewart doing his own version of Dune's Gom Jabbar, reaching his hand into a tiny box, but it's TARDIS style, bigger on the inside, and he uses the tiny bird that he creates with the construct to seemingly do something, like he's grabbing for something inside here. It's not really clear what's happening. When he tells her the ring's always been mine, that's sort of the idea. I think that he feels like he was destined to become a Green Lantern someday, like I was meant for this. We get that really cool scene of Hal Jordan going to see Sinestro inside his space prison. He's being played by Ulrich Thompson, you probably remember from Banshee. Fantastic series. Also starred Anthony Starr, but it was sort of earlier in his career. Ulrich Thompson was fantastic on that series. Absolutely cannot wait to see what he does with Sinestro in James Gunn's DCU. I think there are probably bigger plans for his character down the road. And you love the energy, the vibe between the two of them, because Sinestro was a great mentor to him. He was very close to him, which is why when Sinestro broke bad, it crushed Hal Jordan, like it destroyed him. But the whole vibe of their conversation here is that Sinestro is kind of laughing a little bit on the inside, at least, to Hal Jordan, because it seems like Hal Jordan is starting to understand what Sinestro was doing back in the day when he did break bad. Like, now you're finally starting to think more like me. Now you understand why I did what I did. So remember, one of the big ideas during the series is that the Guardians of the Universe are worried that Hal Jordan is going to break bad. We get a really cool scene of him using his lantern battery to recharge his Green Lantern ring, and we get Hal Jordan reciting the Green Lantern's oath. In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. Nathan Fillion actually crashed the Comic-Con panel, and all three of them said the Green Lantern oath together live.
In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let all who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light.
I've already talked about some of these other scenes during the montage here at the end of the trailer, but it does seem like there's this one scene here where a portal opens up. It's not clear where this portal leads, but it seems like there's this little track that you actually use to just walk in and out of the portal itself. So you can post all your theories about this. So everybody start posting all your theories about what's actually happening during the series and how it's going to affect the DCU going forward, because James Gunn did say that what's happening during the series will have larger ramifications for the entire DCU down the road, and all the Manhunter stuff and Hal Jordan being replaced, Breaking Bad, just feels like it's leading the road to like maybe Parallax, maybe Sinestro Corps War, and maybe eventually Blackest Night even further on. Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below and let me know if you spotted any Easter eggs or references in the new footage that I didn't talk about during the video. The really big reminder is that Lanterns episodes start in August. I'll be doing weekly episode videos, so make sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss those. It'll start right after House of the Dragon Season 3 is done. It's basically taking the Sunday time slot that House of the Dragon is occupying right now. The really big Marvel panel will be Saturday night, so my video for that will post after the panel happens. Click here for that video. I'll update the link as soon as I post it, and click here for my other brand new Avengers Doomsday trailer video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.